And we turn straight away to the Telegraph, where Scots will be allowed to self-identify on the 2022 census. That means they can choose whether they are male or female. A victory for trans rights, or just silly, Sajila?
Well, I can kind of see both sides on this. So a campaigning and consultancy group called Fair Play for Women, they did actually win a similar case last year for in the English courts leading to the census guidance being changed for the rest of the UK. Said that they were surprised and disappointed by this court case, which basically has said that they can register. Now, obviously, if you're thinking, like, OK, I can see why they're saying no, and as a woman and all the things that biology and stuff, I'm OK with that. But on the other side, if you do have on the census as people identifying, and there's going to be people who are going to be drunk that night, you know, census night's always a bit dodgy, who might spoil the census. But there's also going to be like a people who are going to say, look, finally, I can say that I am trans, I am a man or I'm a woman, and I can put that down, and then we get like an estimate of how many trans there actually are. So that's that side of the story. And then the other side is like, well, you know, the biology side of it.
Well, we won't get a good estimate of how many trans people there are, because you can simply put the opposite sex as your sex. So we won't know how many trans people there are, and what it'll do is it'll change the situation.
Oh, yes.
So that's the problem. So, I mean, look.
It's a really important piece of data, and it's being undermined.
The point of the census is to record facts, OK? I think a good compromise here would be to record biological sex and record gender identity as an option. So you could put on the census what your gender identity option, because then that would hopefully satisfy everyone, wouldn't it? I mean,
Andrew Doyle, fixing Scotland.
It's a really simple solution as well.
Right.
Listen, Scotland.
Makes total sense.
Listen to him.
On a similar theme, but an altogether different approach, we discover from the Mail that in Texas, the governor, Greg Abbott, has ordered an inquiry whether the parents of children who have had sex change procedures can be prosecuted for child abuse, Andrew.
Yeah, so the Texas Governor Greg Abbott, he said he's ordered his state's child welfare agency to investigate gender transitioning procedures among children, and he considers this to be a form of child abuse. This is, as you know, a very contentious issue. Lots of sort of high emotions relating to this. There has been a rapid increase in young people, children, infants, claiming to be born in the wrong body or having gender issues or issues relating to gender dysphoria. But of course...
Is that not part of growing up? Right,
exactly. So one of the problems is, and we've had it over here with the Tavistock Clinic in the UK, is that the approach from many paediatricians who specialise in gender has been what they call a an affirming strategy. In other words, a child comes to you and says, I think I'm actually a girl, I think I'm actually a boy. The policy has been to affirm that, say, yes, you are. Now, let's move on from there. And that's very, very dangerous as it happens. We don't do it in any other medical condition. If a child comes to you and says, I think I'm obese, they have a sort of a perspective of themselves that's completely wrong, and they're suffering from body dysmorphia. Yeah. We don't say, yes, you are obese, that's right, you are, so you should keep starving yourself. We say, no, we need to have a conversation about it, we need to talk about the reasons why you might feel this way, etc. We know as well that the vast majority of children who feel unstable within their gender, that typically is resolved through the process of puberty. In the vast majority of cases, there are some people who are gender dysphoric and will end up being gender dysphoric even after post-puberty, but the vast majority won't. And when you put them on puberty blockers and this kind of medication to prevent puberty, what you're doing is you're preventing the very thing that will resolve the problem. And I think also, because puberty blockers often lead to medication, irreversible surgery eventually, you know, this kind of thing, it is incredibly dangerous. And more we're getting young people, detransitioners they're called, people who did go through this, were told by people like Kira Bell, who were told by the Tavistock Clinic, yep, you just go with it, just change your body, have the surgery, etc. And she now says she was never questioned, it was never interrogated, it was just affirmed. And that's causing it's very, very dangerous principle.
Sajila, has Abbott got this right, do you think?
No, because I think in America, those children who... So I don't think punishing the parents after the event is really helpful.
No. I don't think he's planning to do that.
Okay,
but he's saying you can be prosecuted.
Yeah, you can be prosecuted.
Yeah.
But I think legislate on age. We were talking about this after. We talk about this quite a lot, Andrew and I. And I think age, like 16, maybe then you start having those conversations. But I agree with all the things that you just said, Andrew. But I think it's also in America, if you are transitioning or you'll get taken, it is a privilege. It's the poor aren't able to have this, and so it may be a little bit indulgent parents as well, which I'm probably going to get slated for saying that.
Isn't it interesting that it's become an almost right-left issue, and now so Republicans, right-wing people, but they might have different reasons for this, so you get these weird alliances between feminists, socialists, and sort of the Christian right. It's very weird.
It's bizarre.
It is such a weird time.
Yeah.